Alright guys, here we go, video number 2. I apologize if there are any shadows. I'm still playing around with this, trying to find the best way to do this. So let's do the best we can with it, I guess. Today we're going to focus on point slope form. We did this before, so it's a review. Okay, point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, m is our slope, x1, y1 is a point that's on the line. Okay, this y and this x, they stay in our form, in our equation. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is they're going to give us a slope, give us a point, and we're going to put it in point slope form. Okay, so when we're doing this, okay, we know that m is 3. Okay, and then we know that our x is 4, and then our y is 1. I'll make that a little bit darker. Okay, so when we go to write this, we're going to start with the y minus. Okay, our y is 1, so I'm going to put a 1. And then that's going to be equal to m. Our m is 3. And then our parenthesis, x minus, and then our x1 is our x, which is 4. And then that's our answer. We're done. We're just plugging it in so it's in that form. Okay, so let's look at the next one. We know that our m is -1. Okay, we know that our x1 is going to be -2. Our y1 is going to be 3. So we're going to start off writing this down. So we have y minus, and then our y1. Okay, our y1 here is 3. Okay, and then we have equals, and then we have our m. M comes next. Our m here is -1. And then we have parenthesis, x minus, and then our x here, x1, which is -2. So remember, when you have a minus and a negative, it really means a plus. And then when we talked about this, we had said, oh yeah, this is going to be the opposite sign. So a -2 is really going to be a +2. The +3 really turns into a -3. Okay, we need that when we do the graphing part. All right, let's do the next one. So our m is 1/2. Okay, our x1 is -3, and our y1 is -2. So starting this off, we have y minus our y, which is -2. Okay, so remember, this is a negative, so we really put a positive. We do the opposite, so it becomes +2. Equals our m, which is 1/2, and then parentheses, x minus, and then our x1, which is -3. Again, it's really a +3 because we always do the opposite of our sign. Okay, and that would be our answer. That would be the form. All right, and then the last one here, we're going to have our m, -3/4. Our x1 is 1, and then our y1 is -6. Okay, so we're going to start off y minus our y1, which is -6. So remember, this is really plus, opposite in our form. And then equals our m, -3/4. And then parentheses, x minus, and then our x1, which is 1. And again, this is a +1, it's a -1 in our form. This is a -6, it's a +6 in our form. If you have any questions on plugging it in, let me know. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do today. Plug it into the form. Okay, the second thing we're going to do, what's the next page? We're going to graph it. Okay, so they give us the form and we're gonna graph it on here. So the first thing you wanna do when you're going to graph is you wanna figure out what the slope and the point is. We need the point and the slope in order to graph it. So our slope is what's in front here. Okay, so remember our form is y minus y1 equals m, and then x minus x1. Okay, so m is right in front of the parenthesis. So this would be our m. Okay, so m equals 2, and we can put a 1 underneath it for when we go to graph it. Okay, our point is going to be the x and the y. Okay, so our x is -4, but we do the opposite when we're writing out the point. So the -4 is going to actually be a +4. And then our y is by the y term. And since it's a -3, we're going to actually say it's a +3. You pick the opposite. So we always start here at our point. Okay, so we find 4, 3. So I'm going to go over to 4 and then up to 3. I don't have grid lines, so it's not that easy to see, but you can kind of see that it matches up with the 3 and the 4 and the 3. What we're going to do next is we're going to use the slope to find one more point so that we can graph it. So I'm going to find my slope, which is up 2 to the right 1. So I'm going to go up 1, 2 to the right 1 and put my dot. Okay, and then that will connect your points together to make your line. Okay, so let's try another one. Find your slope first. So our slope is -2/1. That means we're going to be moving down and then to the right. Our point is going to be +5. Okay, you go to the x first and do the opposite sign. And then our y, we're going to do the opposite of +2, so it's going to be a -2. So we're going to start here. Start at the point. Go over to 5, down 2. Okay, and then we can use our slope to find one more point. So we're going to go down 2, 1, 2 to the right 1. Okay, and then we connect those points together to get our line. And I should be using a ruler, but I'm not. So I can have nice straight lines. Okay, the next one, our slope is -1/2. Move that over, make sure you guys can see it. Okay, and my point, opposite of this, here's my x, so the opposite, -2. Here's my y, do the opposite, -1. Okay, so we start at -2, -1, we put our dot. And then we use our slope to find the next one. So this means down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Connect them together. And you get your line. Okay, last graphing one. So I'm going to find my slope. 3/4. Up 3 to the right 4. And then our point. So here's the x. We do the opposite. So it's a -4. Here's our y. Do the opposite. +1. So I'm going to go over to -4, up to +1. Put my first dot because we start with the point. And then we use our slope to find the next one. So go up 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect them together and you have your line. So far we found the slope form, the point slope form, given the slope in a point. And then we took point slope form and we graphed using our knowledge of finding what the point is and then using the slope in the form in order to graph it. Okay, we're going to do one more type of problem and then we'll be done reviewing for today and you guys can practice on your own. So the next one we're going to do is write in point slope form. So I'll write it back up here. Y minus y1 equals m and then x minus x1. So we're going to write this equation in point slope form, but we only have 2 points. So part of the point slope form is having a point, which we have 2 points, so we're good. But we also need the slope. We don't have the slope. So our first step is going to be finding the slope. Okay, so we're going to find slope. Okay. So remember, slope formula, x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so when I solve this, I'm going to have y2, which is 4, minus my y1, which is negative 2. That really becomes a plus. And then we're going to do x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 0. 4 plus 2 gives you 6. 3 minus 0 gives you 3. Now I'm going to send out an email that shows you a free calculator app that we have available to us to use while we're doing our remote learning. But for now, I'm going to show you. Remember, you do 6, ABC 3, and it tells you what your slope would be. So our slope is 2. Okay, so we have one part, and we have another. You pick either one, okay? We'll do the second one, but you can do either one. Any point. Remember, I stay away from the negatives, but it's up to you. Okay, so our point slope form would be y minus, and then our x here, our y, because it's y, so we have x, y. So I'm going to put the y next, equals, and then our m, which is 2, okay, and then parenthesis x minus, and then our x was 3. Okay, and that's my answer. Okay, so we're just finding the slope first and then picking one of the points to plug it in. Okay, so let's try the next one. x1, y1, x2, y2. So we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 4 minus y1, which is 2. Then we have x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. When we simplify that to ABC1, we get 2. So our slope is 2. Okay, so from here you pick a point. Let's pick the first one this time. XY, okay? We plug it in. So we have y minus, okay, our y in this case is 2. So we're going to put 2 equals our m, which is 2. A lot of 2's in this problem. Parenthesis x minus, and then our x is 2. And that's it. That's your answer. All right, moving on to the next one. We have x1, y1, x2, y2, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is negative 2 minus y1, which is 3. x2 is 4 minus x1, which is negative 1. Remember, this really is a plus. Okay, so we have negative 2 minus 3, which is negative 5. 4 plus 1, which is 5. Okay, and when you simplify negative 5 ABC 5, you get negative 1. Okay, now we can plug it in. So we can pick either point. I'll just do the first one, xy. So we have y minus our y, which is 3, equals our m, which is negative 1, parenthesis x minus our x, which is negative 1. So remember, this is really just plus 1. Okay, last one. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. y2 is 2 minus y1, which is negative 6. Remember, this is really plus. And then we have x2, which is negative 1, minus x1, which is 4. 2 plus 6 gives us 8. And then negative 1 minus 4 gives us negative 5. And then that cannot be simplified. you'll get a mixed number. When you change the mixed number back, it gives you the same answer. Okay, so we'll go with the first point again. Again, you can pick either one. So we have y minus our y, which is -6. Again, that's really just plus because you have two minus and a negative together. And then we have our slope, -8/5. And then we have parenthesis, x minus, and then our x, which is 4. Okay, and there we go. That is point slope form. So this was given 2 points. Before that we did graphing, and before that we did given the slope and a point. Okay, and we did this in class before we left, before we went on remote learning. Okay, so again, I'm going to post a link I got so that you can download a free calculator app. It's the same as like this calculator, but it's as an app, so you can use it online. And then you guys will have Edulastic to try to work on this. And again, you can message me, email me first before you submit it, and I can tell you if they're right or wrong. Or if you get a grade you don't like, I can send it back to you and you can fix what's wrong. Okay, it's a new feature that we didn't have before that we have now. All right, if you have any questions, comment below the photo or send me an email or a message on Hangouts. All right, guys, I will see you again tomorrow.